homesteaders, gardeners, and cooks. My name is Jennifer. Welcome to Miles Away Farm, or welcome back. It's been a minute. I have a whole bunch of videos that I filmed over the course of the summer and fall that I just hadn't had time to edit. And so I'm going to put those up, and I'm not going to have a lot of introduction to them. I'm going to use this introduction for all of them. And the one thing about my channel is that it's what's called evergreen, which means that this information comes around year after year. And if it's not in season for you now, it will be in season for you later. And most of these recipes could be made with frozen fruit. You've got a bunch of frozen peach product in your freezer and you want to play around with some of those peaches and get them out of the way. So hopefully some of these will be relevant to you as you're going through the winter and looking for fun canning projects. So let's get started. Lots of different projects from this summer and fall. So the recipe we're making comes from one of the Ball Blue books, and they call it a peach puree or a peach nectar. I tend to call it a peach sauce. It can be a little bit confusing, but it's all the same thing. And if you notice in that recipe, it just called for water and sugar with no specific amounts. So what I ended up doing, I had a bunch of different peach projects that I did this year, and this was the tail end of the peaches that I had left over from. I made a peach mustard, I made peach nectar, I made a fruit nectar that had peaches in it. I did some peach jam. And so this was the very tail end. And so I ended up just making a couple of jars of sauce with what I had left. This is how you blanch peaches. If you're processing peaches for any kind of canning job, you don't leave the skins on. Part of that is removing that bacterial load. And part of it is just because those skins are going to fall off anyway. And the last thing you want is peach skins floating around in your jars, which is just kind of yuck. So you blanch them, which means you put them in hot boiling water for a minute, 2 minutes at the most. If they are ripe, those peach skins are going to slip right off. If they are not ripe, they will not come off easily, and it's a good indication that you need to let your peaches sit for a few more days. So if you've ever done this and you've had a hard time getting your peaches skins to release, it's probably because your peaches aren't quite as ripe as they should be. These are scratch and dent peaches coming off of our trees, which we don't spray, and so there's a little bit of bruising, there's a little bit of bug damage, and so I'm just cutting out the bad bits. But I had a whole mess of these. So this is the tail end of that. I threw some extras that I had left over in the fridge. They've been sitting there for a couple of days, so that little bit of browning you see on there is just because they've oxidized because they've been sitting in my fridge for a couple of days. I'm just going to put those in a pan. Again, volume doesn't matter here because it's just arbitrary how much sugar and how much water you add. I didn't add any water. So I got the heat going. They started to release their juices. There was a little bit of juice just left over from them sitting. And then I'm mashing them with a potato masher, which is a nice way to break them up pretty easily. And then I'm going to let that cook down. I am going to add a little bit of lemon juice. More recent recipes from Ball have decided that peaches are kind of right on the edge pH-wise. And so the more recent recipes you see will add a little bit of lemon juice. I like the flavor of that. And so even though this recipe didn't call for it because it's an older book, I went ahead and added a little bit of lemon juice to this mix. And then once it gets up and boiling and everything has softened up, I'm going to hit that with my stick blender, and I'm doing it on my lowest setting. But I'm going to blend this up until it's nice and smooth. You can do that with a blender as well, or you can just leave it chunky if you want. To that I'm adding, and this is arbitrary, you could add sugar. I'm adding a couple of tablespoons of homemade maple syrup, and I have a video on this if you guys are interested. This was maple syrup made from our silver maple trees back in early spring of 2025. Once that's thoroughly cooked down and completely warmed through, and I taste it and it tastes as sweet as I want it to, all I have to do is put this in the jars. So you can do this with plums, you can do this with applesauce, you can do this with all kinds of different fruits as long as the pH is below 4.6 naturally, and just make your own puree. So not complicated. The rims have been wiped on this, and then I'm tightening these finger tight. I'm holding the camera with the other hand here, so I did go a little bit tighter than what you see here. Those go into a canner full of water. That water is about 180 degrees. I'm going to bring it to a full rolling boil, put the lid back on, and then start my timer. Recipe is in the description below, you guys. Doesn't take a long time to process these. I did have a little bit of separation from the boiling, and you can see that water is a little bit cloudy. That probably means I had a little bit of siphoning. That's totally normal. It's fine. It's not a hazardous thing. It just means that some of that puree had a lot of air in it and it got pushed out around that rim. So hopefully this video has inspired you to work through some of that frozen fruit that you may have lingering in your freezer and getting it onto the shelf for quick shelf-stable meals. Thanks for watching, Tribe. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment or share. I have new content coming out whenever I have time.